Okay, so got the workout done, and now that that's done, I had a shower. So I'll always have a shower after working out, fellas. The ladies like you better that way. Chris Tanev is now a member of the Calgary Flames. Yep. Now, what's funny is I'm seeing a lot of Canuck reactions like, I can't believe the Flames are poaching so many Canuck players and all this. You know what? This takes me back. To me, Calgary taking players from Vancouver is a throwback. All we need now is for Hamonic to sign in Vancouver, and it's a complete throwback. The Canucks and the Flames used to do business a lot in either trading with one another or with free agents moving back and forth. You would see former Flames in Vancouver jerseys and vice versa regularly. To the point where as soon as I saw this, I thought, I think I need to make a video about how often you see Flames and Canucks players switching teams. So it's not that unusual. It's unusual a bit with Markstrom, but with Tanev, I'm thinking, yeah, no, that's fine. I can't remember a goaltender from Vancouver going to Calgary. You know, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So it is weird, but again, this is a player that I like. It's a 4-year deal for $18 million, so $4.5 million per year. Chris Tanev didn't get hurt this year. Chris Tanev played like a beast all year. He was a hero for the Canucks in their playoff run, and I wish him only the best. Now, at the same time, I resent what Calgary's doing. So, Brad Tree Living, listen up. I resent that you're trying to get me to cheer for the Flames. Now, I will also say that I agree with reporters who've said when you're covering the entire league, you become less of a fan of teams and more of a fan of players. And that's something I've noticed as the channel has grown over the last 4 years. I used to be almost as tribal as the next guy. Not quite, but almost. And as the channel grew and as I watched every team and I tried to familiarize myself with all the players, I became a fan of certain players. Now, with Vancouver, I became more of a fan of Tanev the more that I watched other teams, the more I watched the rest of the league. Chris Tanev is a leader on the ice. He's a leader off the ice. He's a great guy. He's going to be very popular in the locker room with the fans. He will be greatly missed in Vancouver. And for Canuck fans who might be all twisted up about it, the Canucks didn't have the cap space to do this deal or the Markstrom deal because Benning has spent a lot of money on guys like Eriksson and Beagle and Roussel, and it adds up. And eventually you can't keep guys because there's a salary cap. The cap didn't move up. If we'd had the cap move up to $84 million, which was the speculation before the world came to an end, we might have been able to keep Tanev. But this is where we're at. And I wish Tanev the best. You know, in the case of the Flames, it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. They have... I wonder with Brody to Tanev, I'm not sure if Tanev can provide exactly what Brody did. It's a bit of a different look. But he can replace Hamonic, I would think. And again, that's why I'm thinking, well, Hamonic to the Canucks then? It'd be hilarious if that actually happened. I'm not betting on it. I don't have any sources on it. But hey, it'd be funny if it did happen. Because again, the Vancouver-Calgary thing, I guess to younger fans that might seem weird. To me, a fan who watched hockey in the 80s, that's why I threw on the Pekka Radicchio jersey. Because that was my favorite player. And one of the reasons that I liked the Flames and the Canucks in the 80s before I was where I couldn't. 1989 was kind of where that completely broke for good. But, I liked them because they had players that went for both. I remember, I believe it was Don Lever was the first one that I could recall that had played for both the Flames organization and Vancouver. And, again, wasn't that unusual. So I can take a look at that in a video someday soon because I think it's kind of fun. Speaking of fun, Corey Crawford has signed a 2-year deal with the New Jersey Devils for $7.8 million. That's $3.9 million per year. Mackenzie Blackwood is an excellent starting goaltender, and now he's got somebody to mentor him that's won a couple of Stanley Cups. So this is good news, I would think, for New Jersey Devils fans, in that now they know who their tandem's going to be for the next 2 years. Now all they got to do is lock up Blackwood, and we'll see how much Blackwood ends up getting. He's a restricted free agent this year. And, I think this is a good signing. New Jersey getting Crawford. The interesting thing is Greiss is still out there. The Oilers still have a void there in their goaltending. So, to me, Greiss to Edmonton seems like the natural. We'll see if that ends up happening. But Crawford at $3.9 million per year. There's some risk to that, but it's only 2 years. So, it's not a major risk. And Thomas Nosek, this was rumored before we hit free agency, was that he would end up going back to Vegas. He wouldn't go anywhere else. So even though he hit the market, the odds were he was going to go back to Vegas, and he did. 1 year, $1.25 million. Not too bad for a guy who can play fourth line. Might be the 13th forward on certain nights. But again, for the Golden Knights, they keep their depth. And for the record, Petrangelo decision is likely tomorrow. Haven't heard a lot about Taylor Hall, but apparently Petrangelo is going to sleep on it. Neither Petrangelo nor Hall feel a lot of pressure to make a decision immediately, but there are a lot of free agents who are held up by those two. Those two players are holding things up. And yes, Doug Armstrong, GM of the Blues, has said that signing Krug doesn't necessarily mean they're out on Petrangelo, which has a lot of people saying, pardon, including myself, like there's a salary cap, right? There's still a salary cap. Teams can be 10% over the salary cap during the offseason. So the Blues, yes, they could sign Petrangelo and be over the cap, and then they don't have to worry about it until training camp, basically. But again, we'll see what happens and whether or not Petrangelo ends up landing in Vegas, which has been rumored. Toronto's been in contact. I think a lot of teams have been in contract with Petrangelo, and we'll likely find out tomorrow where he's going. So there you go. I think that's the end of it for today. And again, I thought with Tanev and Crawford's name, I thought those are pretty big names. I should do a video on that tonight. And at the very least for Crawford, he goes from one red jersey to another. In Tanev's case, he's only known Canucks jerseys, so the Red Flames jersey will be kind of unusual for him. But the fact that the Flames are doing a throwback, now their retro jerseys are their regular jerseys for good, yeah, keep picking up Canucks because it'll be just like the 80s all over again. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back here in the morning when we're discussing more signings and more news from around the National Hockey League. Thanks for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.